tonight here in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Dorrance Field, which of course will be rocking tomorrow as #1 North Carolina will take on #3 UCLA, who just knocked off #2 Duke on Thursday in Durham. FIU. Good high press early from North Carolina. Circling back here for the Tar Heels and playing it all the way back there for a moment. A little touch there by Matt Edwards. Kyle, you've had a couple looks already at the Tar Heel men's soccer team. What do you make of them?
I think they've got a good, talented group, and Carlos told me at the beginning of the year, he said this player pool is better than I've had the last few years. It's something I'm really excited about, but just getting everybody on the same page is going to take a little bit of time.
Hilly Goldhar, and the first shot opportunity coming from the North Carolina Tar Heels.
I like the build up there from Carolina. Some quick passes, and that's the kind of thing that Carlos is looking for, is as these guys get more familiar with each other out there on the field, how quickly can you build the offense and not allow that D to get set up?
Goldhar, a graduate transfer from Syracuse. Edwards will play it back to the goalkeeper. You just heard Kyle Straub talk quite a bit about Andrew Cordes. 4 saves on the season, .50 goals against average. A transfer from Portland, but he's got 4 years of eligibility, including this one, part of the Colorado Rapids Academy, and also has experience with the U.S. Youth National Team from ages 14 through 17. So solid credentials on #1 in goal for North Carolina.
And I think in that first game, you got to see the composure. One of the reasons that Carlos is so comfortable with having a young player like him out there between the pipes. The first goal of the season is given up in just the first 5 minutes of the game. It wasn't Cordes' fault. It was a lapse on the defense. But as a young guy between the pipes, to have a goal scored against you that quickly, he hasn't given up one since, though.
As this one is knocked out of bounds, we talked to Carlos Samwano. We asked him for his keys to a Tar Heel win. Not a man of a lot of words, but he breaks it down pretty simply.
He does, and that's the way that Carlos is he's not going to go and give you the whole story. He's just going to get right to the point. And for North Carolina, it comes down to speed of the game. You want to play that with intensity. You play those two things together. That is Carolina soccer in his view.
2011 National Coach of the Year win 10 years after they won their first one in 2001 with Grant Porter on the field. Carlos Samwano won it with Grant Porter sitting next to him. Grant Porter remains a part of the coaching staff along with Michael Harrington, another former Tar Heel. FIU trying to build it out of the back. Again, the North Carolina Tar Heels in the white tops, FIU in the visiting darks. Less than 5 minutes into the start of this one, it'll find Edwards. Edwards does good work there, letting the ball do the work. Now Edwards will check it back.
Even though Carolina handled that pressure well, I like the idea for FIU of putting that high pressure on the Tar Heels. See if you can't force a bad pass, a mistake to get yourself an opportunity.
Garbanyan making the long pass, trying to find Clark, the junior from Windsor, Connecticut.
Hakeem is a big body for North Carolina. They like having him up top. It's a mismatch against most defensive guys.
Dean Clark listed at 6'3", 190. However, FIU has in Scheckerman a 6'5" center back, transfer from Central Methodist by way of Spain. It was great to hear Coach Kyle Russell talk about the fact that at Coastal Carolina they had a lot of international players, and he said, look, when I went to Florida International University, the best part about going to that school is international is in the name. He had the pipeline already to all pockets of the world. We're talking Central America, South America, and of course across the pond, and his team is loaded with internationals.
And I think that is huge to his success in that first season. Not just being able to know where and how to go get international guys in recruiting, but also how to coach them. Coming from a different country, it's a different philosophy for a lot of these guys when they come over to America.
Good touches here right now by the Tar Heels. Of course, as I say that, they give it away, but there was 4 or 5 good passes together, including Tim Shells wearing the captain's armband. Tim Shells, one of those players, feels like he's been here forever. He has been bothered here and there by injuries, but now holding the fort down on the diamond as they go back to the traditional diamond because of the emergence of Sam Williams, not really an attacking midfielder, but the kind of player that you want to get on the field as Carlos Zambrano looks to get the best 11 out there, and they push Sam Williams up. He's just a freshman from the state of New Jersey.
You know, that's part of the player pool and the talent that he has in that player pool that he says it's higher than what he's had the last couple of years. And he wanted to make sure that was not a knock on any of the players he's had. He just feels like he's got a couple of those guys that will be in or can be in that ACC Player of the Year conversation.
Clark trying to keep it alive, and he'll run a corner kick, North Carolina.
Carolina didn't have numbers forward, but Clark smartly still tried to play that ball across, and you end up playing it off the defense to get yourself a corner.
Sam Williams, the freshman, will head over to the corner area with Garvanian. Garvanian, the senior from Albuquerque, New Mexico, off to a fast start here.
Williams being out there gives Carolina another option in playing these set pieces. It's usually Garvanian the last few years that has exclusively taken them.
Williams, good ball. Tries to find the head of Clark. It'll go off of his head.
Clark was able to get there, but it looked like he stumbled a little bit, Dean, and instead of being able to redirect it back towards the goal, sends it out of bounds.
Yep, went the other way, so it'll come back to the Panthers. Based right in Miami. I'm talking right in the center of Miami, and of course, Coach Kyle Russell loves it down there as he's assisted by Danny Marita and Lucas Champenoy, who used to spend time with NC State's coaching staff, so he was looking forward to getting back in the triangle.
Love how he's challenged his team schedule-wise. Year 2, after coming off an NCAA appearance, you'll see a lot of coaches put together a little bit of an easier schedule, build some confidence, get some wins under your belt. He said, no, we're not doing that. We want to go out there. We want to challenge teams that are going to be in the NCAA tournament because that's where we want to be.
Garvanian plays it back to Shells. FIU now on the attack.
Oh, bad pass, gave it away.
Leifa had it for a moment, but taken back here by Goldhar. Goldhar will switch it. Garvanian. Confidence is a great thing, and a big-time save as Kevin Haar, the freshman from Germany, who played for the South Korea youth team in a World Cup final, coming up with a big save. Let's take a look at this last play here, and then we'll break down the keys for FIU.
Great job of Goldhar bringing the defense with him and then bringing the ball back to the near side for Garvanian. I like the shot there. You get the rebound. The only thing missing for Carolina was the rest of those white jerseys crashing the net.
Good save by Cordes. And off that save, FIU doesn't challenge the goalkeeper. It is deflected for a corner kick. Let's take a look real quick at the keys for Coach Kyle Russell coming into this one.
They got to play clean, right? He said, we can't hurt ourselves against a North Carolina team who is a really talented and good offensive club. So take away those self-inflicted wounds, play clean soccer. We're going to give ourselves a chance.
Wants to minimize UNC's chances. Of course, Garvanian already getting a shot off. A big-time save from Kevin Haar, and then just like that, the other way, a corner kick now for the Panthers. Set to take the corner is Bennett. Bennett from England, a transfer from St. John's University, who played against his former team and got a win against his former team. And Dr. Dave Mazur pulled out of the air by Cordes.
Looking for Garcia, the senior, just a little bit too close to the goal. Keep that another 2 or 3 feet out. Cordes isn't going to have that play. You give Garcia an opportunity to get the header.
10 minutes in, Dorrance Field, Chapel Hill, North Carolina. You mentioned the big game tomorrow. Some of the women on the UNC women's team are here, sitting behind the men's bench. Good chemistry between the two teams, sharing this amazing facility, perhaps the best collegiate facility in the country. I think that could hang in there with a pretty good argument as it's dropped here to Garvanian. Garvanian will get it back to the feet of Williams. Quickly now to Edwards. He'll switch it. Shells drops it back to Williams. Williams did pretty well with a tough ball, actually. And here's Garvanian again. as you can see, a lot of the offense going through double twos.
Can help out the defense, can help you out offensively. He just does it all for this Tar Heel team.
Shells has made himself available quite a bit as they try to find Clark, and there's that battle again that I was talking about with the 6'5" center back, Carlos Scheckerman, the senior from Spain, who sits next to another senior from Spain, David Garcia. This year, FIU will be in the American Athletic Conference. They'll be an affiliate as they had been playing in Conference USA. There's some really good teams, though. You think about Tulsa and UCF and Charlotte and SMU. Really good teams in this soccer conference that FIU has now joined this season.
You hear the headlines for the Power 5 conference realignment and teams changing. But it's not just those 5 conferences. There's a whole bunch of others that are around the country, and programs are moving around and trying to get into a better position.
Good look there at Coach Russell, who some people say has the best first name in the world.
I'll agree with that.
Thank you. Sent back. Really good ball from the young goalkeeper. As he plays it forward and finds Alves, the senior from Brazil, a transfer from Missouri Valley College. As that's another thing that Kyle Russell in his 3rd year has done, is he has found some of the top NAIA players as well. Did a couple good years. NAIA is really good soccer, by the way, and he has them ready to play at the D1 level. Good work by North Carolina to win it back and square it quickly as they played it through Schott. Sebastian Schott, a transfer from St. Mary's University, as North Carolina is starting to get a pipeline to St. Mary's in the last several years. Now another player from St. Mary's joining the Tar Heels, and Carlos Salmano. North Carolina trying to find Garvanian. Far side, a little bit too ambitious. He'll be out of bounds.
I like the thought there from Zinhard. Just a little bit too much pace on it, trying to get it down to Garvanian, spring something from the midfield.
Samuano, as I mentioned, assisted by Grant Porter, who won as a player in 2001 under Elmar Bolovich, and then won as an assistant coach in 2011. What I mean by won a national championship. Michael Harrington, and then J.R. DeRose, volunteer assistant coach. His dad, Jim, has been the longtime head coach at Bradley. Well, you were right. Garvanian is the boss of this team, isn't he?
He absolutely is. He's got the confidence, and he's got the confidence of the coaching staff, too.
He'll get it back. Good idea to try to square it. Picked off there in the middle of the park by number 10, Yushi Nagao.
That right there, where the defense is able to get that ball just before the player does at the top of the 18 for Carolina, that's the speed that Carlos wants to see, where that ball is into the middle of the field and to the foot of a Carolina player just a split second quicker.
Nagao with a nifty little quick touch to Bennett. FIU back to Nagao, picked off there by North Carolina. North Carolina going the other way. Numbers not bad, 3 on 4. They try to thread the needle, looking for Goldhar. Goldhar will run it down in the corner. Sent back to Garvanian. Garvanian, good first touch. Gets it back to Goldhar. Goldhar with his left foot and almost tricked the goalkeeper, but well done by FIU to keep this one at 0. Kevin Haar, 135 minutes, coming in with a 2.00 goals against average. He had 6 saves in the win over St. John's.
I like that Carolina has given him a couple of different looks. This one, not a hard shot, looking to just sail that over his head. Either get Clark running on that back post or maybe sail it over and get it in yourself. Haar's been up to the task, though. 3 shots, 3 saves.
Played great against St. John's. Kyle Russell has played 2 goalkeepers, but Kevin Haar getting the majority of the minutes, 135. As I mentioned, those 6-foot saves against one of the legends of the game, Dr. Dave Mazur, a surefire Hall of Famer. Good look at number 1, Kevin Haar, by way of Germany, but as a South Korean roots, and as I mentioned, plays for the South Korean youth national team in a Youth World Cup.
Carolina
has an incredible ability to keep the ball on the carpet, switch it from left to right, go through the midfield, find the wings, exploit space. This one they'll pop in the air, trying to find Clark down in the corner. Little skip here on this beautiful surface, and will stay in bounds. Clark now will drop it back. Now, good little sliding tackle, and finally we get to see the man coming off the 8 goals and 3 assists last year, Stephen Afrifa. The Panthers will push it wide. +15 minutes in. No score here in Chapel Hill.
Williams, the freshman, still down on the backside of that play.
Banyan's going to keep on going, though. Saw Sebastian shot. Lose it, but then get it back. That's a foul right there. You said it. Hakeem Clark at 6'3", 190. He's a handful.
And you can see the physicality they've played against him here, and in those holding center backs, you've got some guys that have the body to go ahead and do it, but you get on the outside and it's a mismatch. And now you've got to be a little bit more physical to try and keep your spot instead of let him push you off.
So now a free kick opportunity for the Tar Heels. Kevin Haar directing traffic. Just a 2-man wall. Arbanyan over there with Shot. Shot will get it back. Drop back to Goldhar. And taken away by FIU. FIU headed the other way.
That's the miscommunication of a team that just hasn't played together a lot this season. Remember, a very short preseason as well getting into this 2022 year.
Good look there at Shot, as it was for FIU number 7, Bernardo dos Santos Monteiro, who got the ball away from North Carolina, and now the subsequent throw-in. Good job to switch the attack here for FIU as they find Hodak. Hodak, who had 8 assists last year playing in the midfield, moved back to right back while Coach Russell waits for some of his defenders to get healthy here to start the season.
It's nice to have some versatility with your players, though, and have the ability to move them around the field, because also with the substitution, you can then change some formations within the games. You'll see it with Carolina, actually.
Our tackle is going down to the ground is Zinhard. Referee with a warning. Next time, Paulo Alves will probably get a card as he went in with his boots up.
It's a good spot there to chat. Things have gotten a little bit physical, but you want to keep it all under control, and I think maybe some frustration coming in there on the end. As the referee, you don't need to give a yellow card early on that, but let them know, hey, that's not going to be acceptable. You do something like that again, we're going to book you.
Booted long, off the head.
Oh, that's dangerous.
This foul is falling right there to Goldhar. One back by Clark. Clark running straight downhill into the 18. Fires one and just missed right there. Got some heat on it though, Kyle.
You got that big body, go ahead and get it behind the shot. Didn't have numbers forward, so I'm 100% okay with that from distance. Not going to beat that last defender, so let's go ahead and let one rip. You never know what's going to happen if you get that on frame.
4 shots already for North Carolina, 3 on goal, 2 shots for FIU, 1 on goal. FIU has already made 3 saves. Kevin Haar with 3 saves for the Panthers. Back the other way, and 1 bounce to Cortez. Good little run, though, by FIU. Right down Main Street. Excellent run there from Alves.
Just off a little bit. If that ball's got a little less pace, or as Alves is a half a step forward, get a touch on it and at least challenge Cortez.
For North Carolina, as Kyle Straub mentioned already, Garvanian a goal and assist in that win over Air Force. Garvanian then with a penalty kick. Key White, who we'll see, the redshirt junior from Norfolk, Virginia, also scored a goal with the helper from Garvanian in that 2-1 win.
And when Carolina goes to the bench in the first half, that's where things have changed for them in each of their first 2 games. And you're not just going to see White come off the bench, but El Kwok as well, who actually earned that free kick in the box there for Carolina, in which Garvanian got the goal last game.
They try to find Clark, handled there by Edgar Aguilar, who was with the Mexico U17 national team, a sophomore from Mexico. 1 assist last year in 17 starts in that outside back position. A little push from behind and a foul on Williams. It'll come back to FIU. We're almost halfway through. We'll get the thoughts now from Kyle Straub. We'll start from the visitors from Miami, FIU.
Well, it was play clean soccer. Don't give the ball away. Don't hurt yourself. And I think they've done exactly that so far. You've got to also have a keeper come up with some saves when it's needed, and Haar has done that as well. So for FIU, I think everything has gone about as you want it to go on the defensive side. Got to find a way to turn some of that into some offense, though.
Kyle Straub's thoughts on the home team, Carlos Samuano's UNC Tar Heels.
I like that North Carolina has spread the field. You've seen them use both the top and the bottom of the screen, trying to spread that defense out and find some holes. You keep doing that, and eventually you'll find your opportunity.
FIU working the left side. Defended well on that back line by the Tar Heels. Left to right across the back is Edwards, Thomas, Zinhard, and Cabella, a freshman from Switzerland. Might be the player that's down over there on the far side. It's Clark, I guess.
As he sent that ball into the middle of the field, was challenged, and I think his ankle got clipped.
I love that shot of the UNC bench, because you talk about a massive roster. It almost takes 2 pages to put their entire roster on it. I've never seen a team with so many players. I mean, just player after player after player.
With that 5th year, I think you've got the extended rosters. There's extra players, the Garvanians, the Shells that are out here, as we get another look at Clark coming across, and oh, it actually looked like he got his foot stepped on there. Maybe banged knees. But as far as the Carolina roster, though, goes, you can only bring a certain amount of players on the road. It doesn't matter how many are on your roster. You have X amount that are allowed to travel. So it's created competition within the team, because none of those spots are guaranteed. It can be a different group every road trip, Carlos told us.
Another player down. Referee letting them play here to start. Limited whistles. Edwards has not been afraid to hit that diagonal ball on the far side, either trying to find Clark or Cabella.
I like when the referees let them play. If things are physical, that's all right, as long as it's clean. You're not coming in with any dirty plays. We saw the one instance where Alves comes in, cleats up, and there's a talking to from the referee. Hey, we're going to let you play physical, but not like that. Here's that sub we were talking about. First one for Carolina is Key White.
So Key White, redshirt junior, already with 1 goal on the season, will come on for Goldhar.
And here's the thing with White. He is dynamic, quick with the ball at his feet, even faster without it. You add into the fact that these guys have been out here running around for 20 to 25 minutes, and now he's coming into the game. So he's already faster than most players. He's got another level that they don't have because he's got fresh legs.
Didn't play last year, but didn't have a goal and an assist in 2020. A little bit of pressure there from Clark. And check out this high press here now from the front line for North Carolina. But FIU deals with it and gets it to midfield. One back, though, by North Carolina. Cabella's over it. Out, bomb it long. Second ball won by FIU. Sticking with it is FIU right in front and hammered home. We started the game talking about this man, and the flag stays down. Steven free throws made it 1-0 FIU.
A free throw with the finish. But Nagao with a nice ball through to find him in the middle of the box. Had to get through a couple of defenders for Carolina. Look at the battle here. Two players for Carolina on the back line. Neither of them can get to that ball. Nagao gets to it, has a clear line, and a great finish from Afifa.
Steven Afifa, 8 goals and 3 assists last year. Second goal of the season. Now has 15 goals and 7 assists. The senior from Canada. Spent some time at the West Humber Collegiate Institute. And Afifa, as it always is, we highlight a player and they deliver.
And I think that goal, Dean, was caused because of the pressure that FIU put on Carolina. Tar Heels did the right thing, like you said, bombed it out towards midfield, just get it out of your zone. But FIU was able to keep possession and keep the offense down in the attacking third.
Banyan will play it back to Riley Thomas, a junior from Atlanta, Georgia, who was homeschooled. Tar Heels starting the season 2-0. 2-1 win over Air Force and a 1-0 win over South Florida.
They found themselves in this exact situation in that season opener against Air Force, went down 1-0. I think the team embodies the head coach, and we talked about it at the beginning. Carlos, a very calm, straight to the point guy, and that's how his team plays. They got down 1, it didn't affect them, they stuck with the game plan.
Score offside, so it'll come back to North Carolina. There he is, the hero of the moment anyway, number 11, putting FIU on top 1-0. And Coach Russell talking about the fact that he does not have an easy schedule non-conference, but he wouldn't have it any other way. He wants his team ready. Pointed out that Marshall won a national championship not that long ago, coming from a mid-major, and why not FIU?
And, you know, I think there's two things to playing a tough schedule if you're an FIU team or somebody in those mid-major roles. One, you're challenging your team, you're learning things from these games against NCAA quality teams. As long as you win your conference, it doesn't matter whether you win these games or not, you get that berth. But if you go out and you win a couple of these tough games, your RPI is going to shoot up. And now all of a sudden, you go and dominate your conference like they did last year. Whoa, Key White almost getting there. But you dominate your conference, and if you have a stumble in the conference tournament, you still have a shot to get in because you've got some wins on that resume that the committee is going to say, all right, look at what they've done.
Yeah, even a loss against a team like North Carolina will help them. So well said, Kyle. And speaking of well said, you nailed it on Key White's speed as he closed down on Kevin Haar quickly. Kevin Haar had to be like, oh my goodness, what is coming at me here? As now Clark trying to find White and cleared off that last line. Man, you are right. Key White has an extra gear.
He does. He's a dynamic player. And I asked Carlos when we talked with him, I said, do you think putting him in the starting lineup is going to be better for them? Do you like the energy off the bench? And he said, you know, I don't really look at players and think we've got to have our best 11 starting. We like the role he plays coming off that bench, the energy. And honestly, I think he maybe was playing a little bit coy. He likes that extra gear he has when everybody else has played another 20 minutes before he's out there.
Under 17 minutes remaining. There is Key White. He's got 1 goal already this season. Tar Heels would certainly take another one, as North Carolina not done going to the bench here in the first half, as Cameron Fisher, the senior from Palo Alto, California, will come into the game. And number 34, Brock, as you said, the junior from Oak Ridge, North Carolina. Tell me about number 34.
Both of those guys have been in the starting lineup for the first couple of games for Carlos Zambrano. So there's we don't look at it necessarily as a starter or not. They're just trying to figure out some rotations and some matchups here. For El Kwak, you're going to see a guy who likes the ball at his feet, can create some opportunities, and that's what he did to get Garbanian, the goal kick, or the penalty kick. Challenged a couple defenders in their last game, ended up getting fouled. It was actually just outside the box, but because of his speed and footwork, when he went down, it was in the box, and it gave the referee the thought that, hey, that foul happened to the 18.
Ahmad El Kwak did not play in 2020 or 21, but has already earned a start on the season. Attended Northwest Guilford High School in Greensboro, North Carolina.
Shirashishi also checked in for FIU. He's got one of the 4 goals, well, now 5 goals since they got one in this one on the season.
Edwards. Moves it back to Shells. Left to right quickly through Shells. Nobody home there, though. And FIU with a 1-0 lead will take their time in the 18.
Fisher had started to make a run that Williams saw, but by the time he played it, Fisher had put the brakes on.
This year marks the 76th season in North Carolina men's soccer history.
Crazy to think that once upon a time, the head coach was Anson Dorrance, the women's head coach.
That's right. FIU, long run.
And by the way, he did both teams. It wasn't like he started with the men and then switched over to the women. He was coaching both of them.
He was, and the relationship is strong, as after they won the 2011 National Championship, I had the great honor of emceeing the banquet where they did a 10-year anniversary, and guess who they picked to be the keynote speaker of their 10 years between their national championships? Guess who they picked to speak?
Anson Dorrance?
Anson Dorrance. Nailed it, Kyle. Well done.
I think when you have a legend on your campus as a coach, and this is any sport, it doesn't matter, it would be foolish of you not to go and talk with them and grab as much knowledge as you can from them.
Yeah, they share a lot. In fact, they also play like every day. Anson doesn't play quite as much. He's switched to pickleball, but this shot right here picked up, but Grant Porter and Carlos Zambrano are out there with Heather O'Reilly and Austin DeLuz and some big-time talent. I mean, I feel like you could put an all-star team together with their noon games right over here on the intramural fields, Hooker Field. Sometimes indoors if the weather isn't great, but big-time talent.
I mean, some of the alum that you can rattle off for North Carolina on the men's and women's side among the all-time greats.
Yeah, well, the good thing is, like Austin DeLuz, all-time assist leader at Wake Forest, I mean, they'll even invite the opposition, some of their rivals, to play as well.
Just buttering them up, trying to get a little insight, maybe.
How about Heather O'Reilly, by the way? Incredible. Out of retirement after having 2 kids, goes over and plays in the Champions League, and now is back in Chapel Hill. Don't be surprised if she's on an NWSL roster at some point next year.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised when she had stepped away and announced her retirement a few years ago after playing with the NC Courage. But then you found out she wanted to have some kids, start her family life. But man, when it's in your blood, it's in your blood. She just couldn't stay away.
She ran a marathon and was in the American Ninja show as well. I mean, she never sits still.
That's the competitor in you. You got to find something to keep that fire going, that drive going.
Speaking of fire, how does North Carolina get the equalizer here in this one to tie up FIU, who has a 1-0 lead, Kyle?
I think North Carolina's going to stick with what we saw in the first 15 minutes, where they were spreading them out horizontally, finding some holes, and be able to get some shots off. FIU's made some good adjustments and have been able to take the ball away from Carolina. They haven't been as clean with their passes.
Under 12 minutes remaining. Just 1 goal scored so far.
the other thing, if I'm Carolina, I'm looking for is kind of what FIU did to North Carolina. Put that high pressure on, see if you can't force a turnover in Panthers territory, make it a little bit easier. You don't have to build all the way from your backside.
FIU going to make a change as Kyle Russell will go to his bench and bring in Fumiya Shiraishi, who is also from the same high school as Yushi Nagao. So that Tokyo connection and another shot and another challenge easily handled there by Andrew Cordes.
That's how it works with recruiting. You find a pipeline and you just keep going to the well. It doesn't matter if it's a club team here on the state side or if it's internationally. You find one, you have a relationship now with those coaches and those players over there. You keep on looking for more.
Great to see Kyle Russell there. As he talked about when he was recruiting at Coastal Carolina, he would just say we're from Myrtle Beach when actually they're from Conway. And he's like, now I can say we're from Miami, and he means it. They're from Miami.
Especially if you're going overseas. Not too many people are going to know where Conway is. Myrtle Beach, a little bit more popular.
Edwards, who's not been afraid to ping those long balls to the far side to either Clark or White. This time they'll use the back line to get it to White. White is taken down. That might be the only way to stop number 13 right there, is kick him.
A little bit slow getting up. Caught him on that left ankle.
That could be a yellow too, in my opinion.
With the way they've let them play physical, I'm not surprised there's no yellow, but if they had started refereeing this one a little bit tighter right away, I agree with you. That's absolutely a foul that you could have seen a yellow card come out for.
Foul on Fumiya Shiraishi. North Carolina trying to get it in the box. No white jerseys home there, though, Kyle, and an easy clearance as it's sent high by the 6'5" Scheckerman, who won an NAI title at Central Methodist before finding his way to FIU. Injured last year, but had 2 game-winning goals in 9 games played before the injury. So you can tell he's also got the ability to come forward and be dangerous on free kicks in that back line for Coach Russell and FIU. They try to switch it. Headed back by FIU. It'll fall to Garbanyan. Garbanyan does not need a whole lot of space. Pretty good pass as he drops it to the feet of Fisher.
I like the drop back pass. You've got the rest of the team coming. Fisher with a head of steam. He realized that that ball wasn't in stride and reached for it. Instead of doing that, take that little stutter step, get your feet underneath you so you can drive that ball and stay on top of it instead of sailing it out of bounds.
Excellent point. Pretty good pass by Garbanyan, but Fisher needed to either do that stutter step or take one touch.
You're going to get a yellow now.
Yeah. I like that was coming, so yellow card issued to FIU's as it's Julian Gastaldi, the sophomore from France, who played at Lindsey Wilson.
No ill intent, I don't think, on this one. But you got to also realize who's around. You can't play that ball when you've got defenders or the opponent on your hip like that.
Amin Hadzik, the man in the middle. Kevin Maurer, John Lesniak on the lines. Aaron Gallagher, a local, your 4th official. Always good to see Aaron Gallagher as part of the crew. FIU with the 1-0 lead as Steven Afrifa, with his 15th career goal as a member of the Panthers, is the only goal scorer so far. And that's where we stand, 1-0 with a little over 8 minutes remaining. Alongside Kyle Straub, I'm Dean Linke. Delighted to be with you this Saturday evening for UNC men's soccer taking on FIU. Stay with us at halftime as we'll take a look around the ACC with some news and notes. As always, the ACC loaded with top 25 teams. They play it back to Kevin Haar, who'll just boot it high, trying to see if Afrifa can win it. Afrifa does enough to, in fact, win it. I'll tell you what, FIU, based on Kyle Russell's game plan to not make mistakes, they look pretty clean.
I think part of that comes from the fact that they've been here, they've done it. Not physically here in Chapel Hill, but against the caliber of a team like North Carolina. Were in the NCAA tournament last year, had a super good season. So you come in as a confident team instead of on your heels. No pun intended.
Yeah, you take a look at the matchup. FIU holds a 2-3 record in the all-time series against UNC and is looking to knock things up with a win, and they have a 1-0 lead. UNC took the last meeting 1-0, 2015, right here. It was then named a Fetzer Field, but appropriately named now Dorrance Field after the 22-time national champion head coach of the UNC women's team, Anson Dorrance.
It was funny when they opened this field. Obviously, everybody going to ask Anson about having his name now associated with what used to be Fetzer Field, and he would tell you this story so fast. He said, you know, I used to live in that dorm over there and look at this field, and I have literally bled on this field. So I guess it's only right that my name's on it now.
Shells. I can hear him saying it, Kyle. Well done. Boy, that last line, a line of 4, and then they'll put 4 right in front of it, kind of on a string right now.
Yeah, and the other thing to notice, Dean, is how many dark blue jerseys are converging to either top side or bottom side of the screen. If Carolina's going to switch fields, I feel like they've got to do it quicker than 2 or 3 passes like they're doing right now. It's easy for the defense to follow that ball. Switch fields with one longer where you can catch a mismatch in numbers.
Keep an eye out for that as we're under 6 minutes here in the first half. North Carolina down a goal. Picked off there by FIU as they try to start the attack. That was Julian Hodak, who is sliding in at right back. There's Hodak again. Does just enough. So far, he's passing the test at right back.
5.5 to go here in the first half. FIU has played a brilliant first half so far. You got to finish the full 45 off, though. If they can, they're going to bring a lot of confidence and momentum into that locker room.
Hodak with 3 great passes on this attack, trying to go long for a free throw, the goal scorer.
Great job by Zinhard to track that ball, turn his hips so that he can stay in front of the in front of the attacker.
Zinhard, transfer from Tulsa, where he had 2 goals and 4 assists at Tulsa. He's a triplet, as Karen and Kai, 3 of them came out about the same time. That's pretty incredible.
Some good work right there from White down in the corner, had multiple defenders to deal with. Keeps possession just enough to earn Carolina their second corner here of the match. Nice ball to get him down there. Good defense here from Garcia. That slide tackle really thwarted the attack, but then White, just some good persistent work with the feet.
He is a handful, White. Corner kick driven in and handled once again by Kevin Hart.
I feel like Williams has played both of these corners pretty well, gotten it to the target, just haven't been able to get the header directed back on frame.
Kept alive by FIU. We're seeing the qualities of Stephen Afrifra.
He's gone down for the second time now. Had a head of steam, came in and collided. I think it was Zinhard that he collided with.
Coach Russell looking on. The clock stopped with 3:45 remaining here in this first half.
Also wouldn't be surprised if this was a little bit of gamesmanship. He's been out there the full 40+ minutes here of this first half. That high pressure, a lot of running. You're early in the season. Legs aren't 100% to where you want them to be. They're just going to take him off, get a sub on there, give him a breather for the last few minutes.
Yeah, bring on his brother, the junior, Simon Afrifra, who spent some time at Lewisburg College, but joins Stephen Afrifra, who's got the only goal of the game.
And this was a really nice one, the build-up and the beautiful cross there that goes right past the defender from Nagao. And I love the touch and the quick finish from Afrifra.
Simon Afrifra in for Stephen Afrifra, brother for brother.
Makes our job easier. Just keep calling the same name. You don't have to throw the first name in there.
(1-0). Both these teams with 5 shots. The Panthers have put 4 on goal. North Carolina 3. Each goalkeeper has been forced to make 3 saves. North Carolina's had 2 corners and just 1 corner for FIU as Carlos Samuano looking on.
You'll remember those 3 shots on frame for Carolina all came in the first 15 minutes of this first half. Since then, offensively, it's been all FIU.
Zinhard starts it out of the back. Garbanian's wide open. They don't see him as they stick on the right side.
You got 4 white jerseys dealing with 7 dark blue jerseys on that far side. Somebody's got to pick their head up and switch that field.
Yeah, he was not on your ACC Network Extra screen, but I can tell you Garbanian was wide open and was not happy that in any of that sequence down the right side, they didn't find him right there, number 22, now on your ACC Network Extra screen. 2 minutes and change remaining. Number 13, North Carolina finds themselves down a goal, 1-0 to the Panthers of FIU. Dancing with it now. And off the bench, Shiraishi. Turning, and it'll be picked up there by Andrew Cordes. Cordes came in with 4 saves in the first 2 games. He's almost got that already here in the first half, Kyle, with 3.
This is easily the most offense that has been produced against North Carolina. Even though Air Force scored that 1 goal against them in the season opener, that was on a turnover at midfield that just quickly turned into a goal. It was really the only opportunity Air Force had in that game. Nice pass.
Beautiful pass. Wow. Gets it back to Edwards. Edwards avoids the tackle. Edwards making this run. Squares it. Oh, right on the platter to White. White somehow. It looked like one of my golf shots right there as he was not able to connect at all.
I mean, you can't really get a better ball at your feet to bury in the back of the net. Great sequence from North Carolina to build. Edwards coming from the back line to help. And White trying to go too far. I would have liked to have seen him go near post there. Shorten up your room for the shot. You can see the keeper was already moving. Use that momentum he's using going out against him and go near post.
Yeah, he shanked it, but luckily for him, Aguilar kind of kept it back in play as North Carolina will work its way back here and try to survive these final 15 seconds, and I think they will, but they will be going into halftime down a goal as we count down the final seconds here. FIU, afraid of nobody, has a 1-0 lead after 45 minutes of play over North Carolina.
Coach Russell told us they've got to play a clean international, and kind of a light bulb went off in my head. So yeah, that makes sense. All right.
Yeah, you think about the starting lineup as up top, Portugal, Canada, Brazil. In the midfield, Japan, Italy, and England. On the back line, Mexico, Spain, Germany, and their goalkeeper is Germany. So their entire starting lineup, international, with no U.S. players in that starting lineup, and it'll roll out of bounds.
Messing around with some lineups, trying to find out what the right group is out there. Carlos is going to give Key White the start here in the second half, and pays off right away. Here's a corner kick for the team.
Key White had the best opportunity. It was really a tremendous run by Matt Edwards. And now the short corner.
Keep an eye on Clark if they're able to serve this one in. Big 6'3" body, nice target.
Williams back to Garbanian. Garbanian with Clark right there. Good call, as always, by Kyle Stroud, but the goalkeeper always gets the benefit of the doubt when there's any physical contact, and FIU will have it back.
This is a really nice ball that's played in with the left foot. I think that was Garbanian. If you're Clark, try and sneak in front of that goalkeeper instead of getting behind him. If you're in front of the keeper, you're going to be a little bit more leeway from the referee to be physical and try and play the ball.
There is the youngster, Kevin Haar. Freshman goalkeeper from Germany, but as I mentioned, is part of the South Korea player pool.
Edwards tried to play that ball, missed it. Opportunity for FIU.
Boy, Edwards, though, so quick to get back and at least challenge the FIU attack.
He recovered so quickly to get back there.
They did. They play it back to Cortez, who's looking to find White. He'll be knocked out of bounds over near the FIU bench. It'll be North Carolina ball.
I guess when you've got the speed that Edwards does, you could take that risk, try and go and intercept that pass and spring a counterattack.
Well, Kyle, that run he made to Key White was pretty special.
It really was. There was a really nice heel pass and a give and go. Clark was the one who was able to get, or excuse me, Edwards was able to get possession and then take it back, and he just kept on going with it. That's dynamic, being able to come up from the back line and help the attack as well.
North Carolina looking to try to go 3-0 for the first time since 2016 and the third time in the 12 years, led by Carlos Samuano. They'll take a shot here, deflected as it's Key White.
It's a little surprising that it's been since 2016 Carolina has been 3-0 to start a year when you think back over the success they've had. Multiple College Cup appearances during those time frames.
I think that's another sign. We talked about FIU schedule, but Carlos Samuano, that says it all right there. They always play a tough schedule. I mean, the ACC is tough enough, but the non-conference schedule is always way, way up there, Kyle.
I feel like it's not really beneficial for a team in the ACC to play teams that aren't the same caliber. If you're playing down to your opponent, it's going to make it tougher when you've got those real tough games against top 25 teams.
Commanding the goal there is Andrew Cortez. He'll drop it. Hit that time, and it'll come back to FIU.
We've seen some miscommunications a few different times. This time Cabella trying to play it over the top and get Clark on a run. Clark coming towards him, looking for that shorter pass, keep possession. Tar Heels just not on the same page here tonight.
Right back with Cabella, left back with Edwards. All kinds of speed and the ability to be a part of the attack for Carlos Samuano. They'll need everybody to go forward here. There's Shells sacrificing his body, and he'll get the call. You
see the yellow captain armband on Shells. We talk so much about Garbanian so far and how much of a leader he is. Tim Shells is right there with him, 1A and 1B in terms of leadership for Carolina.
Yushi Nagel whistled for that foul as he's back in there to start the second half for Coach Russell. Into the 18. Tar Heels have probed a couple times that breakaway from Edwards to White, but it has not been easy. Tremendous tackle right there by the Tar Heels.
Zinhart on the Herman watch list for a reason. Nice play there. Good awareness. Good intelligence.
Shells is tripped, and the referee's going to stop the clock, which is going to mean a yellow card. And so a yellow card going against Bernardo dos Santos Monteiro, who is from Portugal.
Right in front of the referee. That was a pretty easy one for him to see. Just stuck that foot out and tripped Shells. We saw the referees in the first half, especially early, let them play physically, kept things under control when it got a little bit dirty, but we only saw one yellow card. I think here in the second half, you may see things a little bit tighter. It's another miscommunication there. White going one way, Shell playing it the other.
So North Carolina will drop it all the way back to Zinhart. Baya for Garbanian and knocked out of bounds. A little bit of frustration on the face of Garbanian.
Carolina's got to find a way to get him involved. First 15 minutes when they got those 3 shots on goal, seemed like he had the ball at his foot for about 9 of those 15 minutes.
That's another pass, Kyle, like you said, where they're just not on the same page. They're definitely trying to find White, but they're not making it easy for number 13.
Yeah, before the first game of the year, speaking with Carlos Samuano, he said, you know, I may have a bit of a head start on you because I'm a head coach here at Carolina, but we're going to learn together about this team because there's just so many new faces. It's going to take some time for them to gel and for the coaching staff to figure out exactly what groups work best together, what players complement each other, and where on the field do they need to be playing.
Carlos Samuano, not on purpose. A little bit of a collision right there with number 21, Julian Hodek.
I think what Carlos is saying is he wanted them to play that ball that was right in front of the announcer's score table, and that's why he was going to take that, because he had put it into play. I saw him do it earlier in the game. Doesn't want to waste any time. Get that ball back into play.
Carlos got some good hands there. Faked left, went right, and knocked it out. I wonder if Hubert knows about that handle. What do you think?
Oh, listen, it's not just Ann tonight. All the coaches in Carolina, I'm sure, getting together and chatting.
FIU. Afrifa has got one already. Let's see if it ends up back to him. It does, inside the 18. You figured it would. And he earns a corner kick FIU.
Good work on the near side by FIU to build that quick counterattack. Get that ball deep in Carolina territory. Try and find the opening. Not there, but you do earn the corner. Just their second of the match. The referee going to stop the clock. They're taking a little bit too long to get over to it.
Keep your eye on Carlos Scheckerman at 6'5". As I mentioned, he won an NAIA title with Central Methodist. Injured last year, but had 2 game-winning goals in just the 9 games that he could play. They'll play it over his head, actually, and pushing and shoving will bring it back to North Carolina.
Even without the whistle, that ball a little bit too much behind it, sailing over everybody.
North Carolina men's team has made 9 College Cup appearances, including in 2020, the COVID year, which was held right here in the state of North Carolina. Both men and women, all 64 teams came to North Carolina. They learned a lot from that. Here's an opportunity. Good tackle. Referee says it was clean. Crowd does not like it as David Garcia slid in there, and White is down.
He went down hard on that play. It wasn't a dirty play. Garcia got there first, but the way that White came down was not pretty. You see the speed we talk about. That's what springs him here. Great first touch. But he comes down and you see the whip, the head banging down onto the grass.
Good ball from Garvanyan. Yeah, that was clean by Garcia. It was all ball first and then laying in front. But you're right, the fall was awkward.
That whiplash, and you see him rubbing the back of the head. At the very least, going to have to go off, get checked out for concussion protocol. Looked a lot worse than it turns out to be. Glad that he's not hurt.
David Garcia, the senior from Spain, second team Conference USA a year ago. 7 goals and 2 assists in his career. 3 goals and 1 assist last season. And White will head over to the fourth officials table, and
you could see the thumbs up from the trainers as they came towards the sideline. He's gonna have to wait until the ball is put into play, and then he'll be able to re-enter.
Standing next to the fourth official, Aaron Gallagher, Carlos Samuano over his shoulder.
Look for Carolina to play some more balls like that, though. They didn't really have a lot of success trying to break through the defense with FIU, packed in a lot. Get that ball over the top, use some of the speed, try and get some separation.
So So now we'll have both Simon and Steven Afrifa on the field together. 11 and 12. And here's Simon Afrifa. Simon makes an immediate impact and draws a corner kick, and he just came on here in the second half. He replaced his brother in the first half. Now they'll play together.
I love the aggressiveness here from Coach Russell. Don't just sit back and keep attacking. Instead of subbing in to get somebody maybe more defensive minded, he said, let's get another guy out there who's going to push and try and get another goal.
So taking the corner kick is Andrew Bennett, the junior from England, transferred from St. John's University, one of the teams that FIU has already knocked off to start this 2022 campaign. Corner kick driven in, headed out of there by North Carolina, falls to the top of the 18. It'll be cleared out of there by Sam Williams.
6 total corners between these two teams, each with 3 of them, but nobody really has threatened off any. Not terribly surprised by that though, Dean. Not having a lot of preseason to get ready, and now you're just in the 3rd game of the season. Those set pieces take a little while for everybody to get on the same page.
Long throw in for FIU. Afrifa gets his head on it, sent back and picked up by Cortez. And you mentioned the limited preseason. Sasho Soroski, the head coach for Maryland, gets a lot of credit for the 21st century model, but make no mistake, Carlos Samuano is working just as hard as Sasho is. He has been one of the leaders of that 21st century model, with the idea that the men will play some games in the fall and finish in the spring and have a late May, early June championship celebration. The Afrifas trying to combo. Here they go. Afrifa to Afrifa, and knocked away there by Edwards.
What a great turn on this ball from Stefan Afrifa, and then to put a perfect ball with the right amount of pace ahead for his younger brother Simon. Just couldn't get that first touch, which allowed Edwards to come in and play it. But look at that turn there. That's beautiful, and a nice ball ahead. Just a little bit of a stumble though from Simon.
There is Simon looking for his brother Steven. Montero, and it'll be another corner kick.
Some real good work here from FIU, Dean. They are putting the pressure on this North Carolina team.
I agree, really good work.
You know, for your point to the 21st century model, they actually played that way. They showed that it could work, and that's, I think, one of the frustrations on Carlos's side is that they did it during that COVID year, and they still haven't gotten the vote. It keeps getting tabled.
Well, North Carolina certainly showed it worked, because after not making the NCAA tournament for the first time in forever, they made it back to the College Cup in what was a 21st century model season, as they made lemons out of lemonade. That's a handball right there. It'll come back to North Carolina. And I'll tell you what, that was on purpose enough where it could have drawn a card, but it didn't, as Simon Afrifa just lifted up his hand and knocked it down. And now the clock has stopped, as Edwards perhaps cramping up, as he has been going end to end.
That's exactly what it is early in the season, still trying to get your conditioning there. We saw him make that really long run in the first half, almost getting the ball to White for the goal.
Number 26, Matt Edwards, a sophomore from Apex, North Carolina. Spent time at Ravenscroft School and then finished up his schoolwork at Capstone Academy before heading to Chapel Hill.
More than just a cramp. It looks
yeah,
like
he's kind of
Edwards.
holding the hip.
Yeah,
yeah, good point.
I'm going to sub out, bring on Victor Olofsson. But make no mistake about it, having Edwards off the field, that's a big loss. Looks like Garvanyan going to drop back and take his spot.
So Garvanian head to that left back slot. And his versatility. Big week for Garvanian as he was named to the College Soccer News National Team of the Week. Scored a goal in both of UNC's games so far, including the game winner against USF, and had a game-winning assist against Air Force.
Been involved in all 3 goals that have been scored for Carolina this season. Some way, somehow, finding a way to help them out.
Simon Afrifa looking for Steven, and Garvanian helps get it out of there. Sam Williams, wearing number 7, won back by FIU. This is Simon. Drops it to his brother Steven. Pretty good turn, still loose. Now North Carolina, they do not panic. Into the game now, as you mentioned, Victor Olofsson. Another one of those players, a little bit like Tim Shells, feels like he's been around a little while. Shells calling for it. And Simon Afrifa challenging it. There's Shells. Kyle, almost 15 minutes in, kind of a similar question to what I asked you in the first half. What does UNC have to do to find the equalizer?
I think North Carolina really needs somebody to step up for them. They haven't been able to build here in the second half at all. The only time we saw an opportunity was when they got that ball over the top and Key White used his speed to create an opportunity. That's going to be the key for North Carolina. If they're not able to do it, FIU has had the better of play here in the second half.
Stephen Afrifa taking down Riley Thomas. Great to have the wisdom of Kyle Straub. Dean Linke along for the ride here. Always great to be at Dorrance Field for soccer, where this place will be rocking tomorrow high noon as number 1 North Carolina will take on, I think you can call them number 2. I mean, they were number 3. They beat number 2 Duke on Thursday, as UCLA, the Bruins, undefeated, taking on the undefeated Tar Heels. That's going to be a great one tomorrow right here at Dorrance Field.
We talked earlier about Anson Dorrance being both men's and women's soccer coach at one point, all the national championships on the women's side. He has been quoted as saying that this year's team is the deepest he has ever had. And if you hear that as an opponent, it's got to send a shiver down your spine. Yeah,
that is scary, and that's without Macy Bell, as they used to rattle them off like books on a bookshelf, as you're seeing right there, all of the national championships. That's ACC Network. UCLA and North Carolina, FIU trying to add to their 1-0 lead and putting pressure on the goalkeeper Cortez, who kind of mishit that. And Olofsson was held, and he'll get the whistle.
Hinojosa had a handful of jersey pulling him down. Here comes a trio in. Going to try and change some things up.
All right, so coming into the game now is Cameron Fisher, who played the first half. You also get a look now at Guy Vivaldini, who will come into the game, wearing number 36.
First time he's been out on the field this season for North Carolina. Haven't had any success, so you're trying to find some combination, somebody who can spark them.
All right, so we'll see if Guy Vivaldini can do it. Try to find him early. Looking for Guy Olofsson. Good motor from Olofsson to keep it alive. Bea over to Shells. Shells mishit in FIU, trying to go the other way. North Carolina doing a better job now, winning those second balls and putting some pressure on the Panthers as they search for that equalizer. They square it. Olofsson just missed it. And now FIU can get numbers forward here.
Tough thing for North Carolina, though, on those builds. It allows FIU to drop some players back, and when they can, they're dropping 9 back into the box.
If you're just joining us, FIU out of the American Athletic Conference, previously Conference USA, got a goal in the 25th minute from last year's superstar Stephen Afrifa, who had 8 goals and 3 assists. He's now got 2 goals on the Young 2022 campaign, and that's where we stand. 1-0 FIU, and FIU looking to add to it. Sent across. A free throw. Yes! 2-0. And number 11, Stephen Afrifa, has 2 goals in this game, and it's 2-0 FIU.
The offensive strike is so quick from FIU. Seemed like the ball was just down on the other side of the field, and then here come the Panthers, and this time with his back to the goal, Afrifa showing just why he was the goal leader for FIU last season.
Great ball from Monteiro right here with that left foot.
It really was just enough on it to get it over top of the defender there. Great settle from Afrifa as well.
Well, you feel like Stephen Afrifa had a little more joy as well playing with his brother. His brother was not involved in that, as it was Bernardo dos Santos Monteiro with the great service. But how about the trap, the turn, the spin, and the hammer for number 11, second goal of the game?
Set it off the top. He is a fun story. When Kyle Russell got there last year, he said, wasn't really playing a lot. Just 11 starts through his first 2 seasons. Produced 5 goals in those first 2 years. Had 8 goals last year. He's up to 3 now this season.
Now the Tar Heels with a little extra wood to chop, and they have a shot from distance. And speaking of extra wood to chop, into the game now. Get ready for this one, as there's 22 letters in his last name, wearing number 19. Andoni is his first name. His last name with 22 letters is Garo Guri Kai Chibirira, something like that.
We get pronunciation guides, and it phonetically spells it out for you. I am not kidding when I say this. On their pronunciation guide for his name, it says in parentheses, good luck. I've never seen that before.
There it is, right there. That guy, number 19, the senior from Florida, into the game. Yeah, even Chandler, the wonderful SID for the men's soccer team, mentioned that name and said the same thing, good luck. And then kind of the curse and said not expected to play. And into the game is Andoni.
And that's what I'm going to stick with, Andoni. If you want to tackle that last name again, Dean, by all means, go for it. But I'm going with the first name.
I'm only allowed to butcher it 1 time, not twice, so we'll go with Andoni. 22 letters in the last name of that guy right there, number 19. FIU looks impressive here with a 2-0 lead over the Tar Heels. Side is Garbanyan, who's had to move to left back as Edwards went off with what looked like a little bit of a hip issue. We certainly hope he's okay.
He went actually into the tunnel, and just a couple minutes ago I saw him come back out onto the field, start warming up a little bit on the sideline again.
Good eyes, Kyle. Boy, FIU, it's not even like they're bending. I mean, they're dealing with some pressure from North Carolina, but there's no panic. And then when they win it back in transition, they are an extremely dangerous team here, at least so far in this one, with a 2-0 lead and just over 25 minutes remaining in the game.
I said in the first half, I feel like teams play to kind of the personality of what their coach was. For Carolina, a calm team, just like Carlos is. For FIU, Coach Russell, he's not afraid of anything. And he told us that and why he made this schedule. The team isn't afraid either.
North Carolina gets it inside the 18, but 3 blue jerseys around the attacking presence of North Carolina. And now Shells will try to reset. Looking to switch the point of attack over on the far side, and a good shield by Hodak. And Hodak, the sophomore from Germany, will let it go out of bounds. FIU not done making changes, as another international, Matthias Lavenant, will come into the game, a junior from France. As coming out of the game is Bennett, the junior from England and transfer from St. John's. So now Kyle Russell can use his entire bench perhaps as well with that extra lead, the extra goal here. One in the first half, one in the second half.
Garbanian whistled for the foul there, a little bit late coming in with the hip. Saw some frustration from him earlier. Actually got the shoulder in there that sent, I believe that was Hinojosa.
FIU doing their best to keep possession. That is one of the best ways to work down this clock. Plenty of time. We're not even halfway through the second half. So plenty of time for North Carolina. As you mentioned, North Carolina did fall behind Air Force. It came back with 2 goals. A little more work to do, down 2-0 now with the goal in each half for Stephen Afrifa. Olofsson. Square back to Shells. Good touch there from Schott. Schott will get it back. Bottom of his foot. Rolls it over.
Something happened over there. I didn't see it, but Hodak went down in a heap. Maybe got poked in the eye there unintentionally.
Yeah, by Schott. There was no intention there from Schott at all. So Hodak.
They're going to make him go off. I think because it was an injury where they had to stop the clock and anything in the head realm, it's just the rule. Got to go off until ball is back in play.
So Julian Hodak will hustle back to the 4th officials table where both teams are looking to make additional subs here. You can see for North Carolina trying to get Sam Williams back into the game. And North Carolina trying to get a goal in this game. Down 2-0. Lofted ball, far side, handled there by FIU. Shells. Keeps it on the carpet. Garbanian making a run. Garbanian sends it all the way through. Olofsson was there turning and denied again. Really good play though by North Carolina. Garbanian with a good ball through in front of the top of the 6th there, Kyle, but nothing to show for it.
Just that last touch to get the opening, and there really aren't many openings because FIU with a 2-0 lead, able to play with a nice full box. Make it clogged so that they can't find a way to get that ball through. Help out your goalkeeper.
Turned over again and sent long by FIU. As that's Yushi Nagao again, number 10. He looks to be a pretty good player as well.
The last shot on goal for North Carolina, Dean, came with 13:52 gone in the first half.
Yeah, that's not going to get it done, Kyle.
No, they came out of the gates on fire. 3 shots on frame in those first 13-plus minutes. But I think you got to credit FIU and the changes that they've made defensively after seeing how Carolina was attacking them.
Garbanian looking for Olofsson after a tremendous ball by Fisher from the right side all the way to the left side. Then Garbanian came forward. Olofsson will track it down. Olofsson looking very busy. Came on for Edwards, who went out injured. Hopefully he's okay. And turned over again as you're starting to see FIU try to manage this game a little bit. Still a lot of time though, 21 minutes remaining in the game. And you feel like with Key White and Akeem Clark on the bench, those might be 2 weapons to bring on as well for North Carolina.
Actually just saw them get up, take off those yellow pennies that they have on.
Here's a shot, and North Carolina has got one back. The Tar Heels with the quick turn, and the goal from Goldars made it 2-1.
was heavily involved in those first 13, 14 minutes for Carolina, helping to create some opportunities. Had 2 shots which led the way for Carolina, both of them on frame. Make it now 3 as they're finally able to break through. Some really nice passing here in some tight places for Carolina. Then fast passes too. That's what Carlos wants to see from this team.
So Illy Goldhar, the transfer from Syracuse, has North Carolina right back in this game. And like I said, a mountain of time left. 20 minutes and 37 seconds remaining. And number 17 has put North Carolina on the board. Number 11, rather, has put North Carolina on the board. And cut this lead in half. As this is his first goal as a member of the Tar Heel. He did have 4 goals and 14 assists playing for the Orange.
See if that breathes some life into this North Carolina team, energizes them a little bit.
Good look at the goal scorer a moment ago. Speaking of number 17, Cameron Fisher. It's Goldhar again holding it up. Now top of the 18. Turned over to FIU. Good job winning it back there by number 36, Vivaldini. Played behind Williams. So Williams has made his way back onto the field. Still waiting for number 13, Key White, and number 25, Akeem Clark, to come on. Olofsson.
Into the corner.
Both goalkeepers with 3 saves each in this game. 11 shots for North Carolina, Kyle. 6 for FIU.
They're leading the shots. It's just the quality has been better for FIU. A little bit curious there that Carolina didn't take the free shot there, the free kick, and get a set piece. Instead, just quickly played it.
Yeah, I agree. Now Olofsson's on it. See a line of 4, then 2, and a line of 3, and the only guy not coming back to do a ton of defensive work is the goal scorer with both goals for FIU. On the right side, it's Fisher. Fisher to Olofsson. Olofsson. He gives it up to Garbanian. Fisher. Fisher. Creates his own space. Olofsson dancing with it. Tight quarters. And the goal scorer, Goldhar, has it ripped away.
I would have liked to have seen Fisher actually let one go from about 19, 20 yards. At least from up here in the box, looked like he had a slight opening.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of light there.
Sometimes, as an offensive player, you got to have a little selfishness to it. It's not always, let's look for something to set somebody up, but looking for, hey, I've got an opportunity, I'm going to score.
Julian Gastalti will come back on. So Gastalti back in the game. A little give and go right here. A free flag is up, though. That's a good call. That will not count. That will not count. Cortez didn't even realize it, but it won't count. Flag was up. Good job by the far side assistant referee, as this one will stay at 2-1.
Take a look at this one. Carolina back line doing a good job of holding strong. Didn't collapse, didn't sag, which would allow those attackers to stay onside.
Excellent look by our outstanding crew here. Dorrance Field getting rolling again, but always an A-plus performance from our crew. Producer Tanner Phipps, director Joe Ferrara. Caleb Furl, Ken Cleary, Thomas Mahler, Dan Enders, Cameras, Seth Taper, Brian Ware, Cam Newworth, Sophia Godoy, Jeff Anderson, Tanner King, and Zachary Scott, all part of the crew. Alongside Kyle Straub, I'm Dean Linke. Delighted to be with you on a Saturday night. Happy Labor Day weekend. I don't know about you, but I saw those games on Monday, but I'm chilling on Monday.
Yeah, I got nothing going on Monday. I got 2 more games to call tomorrow. Had one yesterday. We're relaxing on Monday. Something to keep in mind as the clock ticks down under 16 minutes now. New rules. We play 90 during the regular season. There is no OT.
Yeah, that is always worth mentioning, as North Carolina would love to get that equalizer and at worst case scenario, get at least 1 point against a really good team, FIU. FIU was ranked before taking a loss. So coming off a trip to the NCAA tournament where they gave Wake Forest all they could handle, losing 3-2. Here's a chance to tie it. Good tackle coming in, though, for FIU. Phenomenal tackle by David Garcia.
I've liked what Vivaldini, has given Carolina off the bench.
Yeah.
Been able to pressure that back line a couple of times.
Yeah, he's been busy, Kyle. You're right.
You don't get any goal or an assist there, but those kind of minutes are going to earn you more minutes as the season goes on, and he'll come off as that trio up top comes back in for the Tar Heels.
Well, he did enough to make a difference, to make them pay attention. So now you bring on Clark and you bring on Key White. You bring on all that speed, all that size, and all that power. And Vivaldini made a difference. So perhaps he wore him down a little bit is what I'm trying to say, Kyle. As White will come in for Vivaldini. North Carolina really had a lot of the ball here in the last 10 minutes or so. Bea, step over, runs into trouble. Scott Olafson taken away there by FIU.
Got caught looking for the perfect cross instead of just getting one in when you have numbers into the box.
Yeah, excellent point. He ended up dribbling himself right into trouble.
I feel like if you have the lead, if you're FIU in that situation, sure, you can look for the perfect cross. But being down with less than 15 to go, you got an opportunity to put one in the box where you've got 3 or 4 white jerseys. You got to take it.
Kyle Russell directing traffic for FIU. Not in a hurry is Edgar Aguilar. I mentioned played for the Mexico U17 national team, wearing number 5. Florida International University, their soccer team puts the international in international, as it is almost exclusively an international team. In fact, one interesting comment that Kyle Russell made is some of the transfers he's brought in from NAIA schools, some of those players didn't even speak English before they got to the NAIA schools, learned English, and they obviously knew how to play the game. And he went and found them, and they've made an impact for Coach Russell and the Panthers.
Now, one thing I've learned growing up is that sports language is international. You may not be able to speak the same language, but when you start talking about playing a game, everybody's going to be on the same page. Oh, that's not, you can't do that. I'm surprised that he didn't get a card for mouthing off back to the referee like that.
Yeah, well, he's just been warned right now, as you said that, Kyle. Right when you said that, he basically said, do that again and you'll be going in the books. Switch the point of attack to shot. Banyan. Afrifa. One back. White. How many times have we seen David Garcia go to the ground for a tackle? Shot on it again. Played quickly here now to Williams. Williams looking to find Clark. Clark going to try to run it down. Clark, can he get there? It's a corner. Well, now they're going to say gets a goal kick.
Oh, well, I thought it was touched up top by one of the FIU defenders.
Well, to your point, I think Akeem Clark did too, the junior from Windsor, Connecticut. Kevin Haar, transfer from
Germany.
Yeah, from Germany, yeah. Laid down on the ground, and Haar will get out and get it.
Good thought from Williams there, trying to get that ball through to White, but the freshman had a lot of room in front of him of open ground. Keep that ball at your feet. Make the defense come to you, which will open things up for the wings.
Second ball won by FIU. Olafson, whistle for the foul.
Just the third foul against North Carolina tonight. Only 4 against FIU.
Carlos Samuano looking on. Grant Porter sitting right next to him. FIU 2, North Carolina has answered with 1. Billy Goldhar with the North Carolina goal. FIU looking for another one. Will stay in bounds. And on the ball is Montreo, dropped back. Handled by the Tar Heels. They'll quickly are up with it. They'll drop it to Garvanian. Garvanian will try to get the attack going from the left side. Garvanian will cut it back. Squares it to Shot. Shells brings it all the way back to Thomas.
Looks like FIU's gone into a 4-2-3-1 formation.
Olafson, like he was fouled right there. Referee says play on. We have seen this man serve some really good balls in Monteiro. One in the middle by Gastaldi. Gastaldi. Deflected by North Carolina. And a whistle against the Tar Heels.
I don't think there was much there from Williams, but his arm's extended. Anytime the referee sees the arm extension, if the player goes down, you're going to get the whistle. Take another look here. Header off of Shells. And yeah, the arm extension. Especially right in front of the referee. That's an easy one for them to make the call on.
Carlos Samuano looking on. 12th season. He's already been to 4 college cups. Won the national championship in his first year, replacing Elmar Bolovich.
Looks like the Tar Heels going to go with a 3-man wall.
Montreo. Olafson with the clearance. Taken down by Lavinette. Good ball to Alves. Throw in for the Panthers, who have a 1-goal lead. Now you start to look at the clock. 7 minutes and 45 seconds remaining in this one.
Got to take some risks if you're North Carolina, some that maybe you wouldn't have taken earlier in the game.
A free throw. He's got a brace. One back by Hildebrandt, as Hildebrandt working his way into form. Would normally be the starting right back. Senior from Denmark and transfer from East Tennessee State. There's Hildebrandt right there. Hildebrandt keeps it on the carpet. Really nice ball. Bernardo dos Santos Montreo. Hildebrandt. Little touch there. Again back. And Hildebrandt closing down. North Carolina. Time here now. The crowd's starting to get into it. Clark. Making a run down the middle is Williams. Clark. Drives it right into the 18, but drives it into trouble, Kyle.
Would have liked to have seen him either go towards the middle of the field, maybe pass it back, or cut into the corner so you can cross that in. Had two defenders there in front of him. That's too much to try and split those.
Just over 6 minutes remaining in the game. North Carolina searching for that equalizer. They've got it inside the 18. Sent back across. It'll be a corner kick. Corner kick, Tar Heels.
Good work here from North Carolina. Gave up that second goal, and I'll give them credit after giving it up. It's woken them up offensively. They got back to keeping possession. Obviously scored one goal so far. Nice ball there from White.
Here comes the corner, lofted high, looking for the far post. Shot gets his head on it, but it will go out of bounds, and now it'll be time for Kevin Haar to work some of that clock as we're approaching 5:30 remaining in the game. FIU with a goal in the first half from Stephen Afrifa, a goal in the second half from Stephen Afrifa. Carlos Samuano saw Hilly Goldhar bring one back, but that's where we stand right now, Kyle. 2-1, FIU on top. Roll out of bounds as getting back into the game. You had commented on Vivaldini and his work earlier. Now he's back in there.
I saw him come on for the first time this year, played 16 minutes, and Carolina just looked different when he got out there on the field, helped to create some opportunities.
So Vivaldini back into the game.
Good use of the re-entry rule here in this second half by Carlos, being able to get guys in and out, keeping some fresh legs out there.
Even Afrifa was hoping that one of his teammates was making a run. He particularly wanted Julian Gastaldi to make that run. I'll tell you what, Stephen Afrifa is a good soccer player. He's got a quick release, good angled balls. Even when he's not scoring, I like what he does off the ball, and I like what he does passing the ball as well.
His touch to be able to settle on both his goals has been really, really delicate is the word I'll use, because it's been long crosses that he's been able to settle right at his feet and then get a shot off immediately.
Quick shot. 6'5" Scheckerman bombs a ball long and headed back neatly by Garvanian to his goalkeeper. Andrew Cordes, the transfer from Portland, has had to pick a couple out of the back of the net from Afrifa.
No communication there. Goldhar coming down the sideline. Williams didn't know he was there. If he doesn't head it, that's going to go to Goldhar, and you can keep that momentum going forward instead of coming back and then having to rebuild. Another corner.
So a corner kick, North Carolina. Sam Williams, the freshman from New Jersey. Carlos Samuano pacing the bench now. You can tell right now he's trying to set up this corner kick here. Sam Williams, who's he looking for? Clark is in there. They bring some of the center backs forward. Little touch momentarily there by Riley Thomas. Then the big clearance. And Afrifa holding the ball, and he is taken down, and that will not help the cause here for North Carolina as we're under 3 minutes remaining. That's the player of the game right there, without question, number 11. Both goals for FIU.
Nice little self-pass behind the back and created the separation. Easy one to get the call on.
Goes Kyle Russell. Arms folded for a moment. They're trying to buckle down this North Carolina team. Kevin Haar will boot it long. Shot gets his head on it. Garvanian will find it. North Carolina's got time. Garvanian pushed forward. The Tar Heels will drop it. Clark deflected. Corner kick. Corner kick, North Carolina.
So I would have liked Clark on the first touch to take the shot. Right there. That split second where he settles it, lets it get away, and then has to get to the ball, allow the defender to close in.
It did draw a corner, though. Here it comes. Corner kick across. Wow, Har was in no man's land. He was actually underneath the crossbar as North Carolina, desperate for the equalizer, getting ready for a bike right there. It'll be another corner kick. No, they'll say off of North Carolina. Ouch, as we approach 90 seconds remaining.
Garvanian was looking for that Sports Center highlight reel goal right there with the bicycle.
He was.
May have gotten it if the defender doesn't go out there and get a piece of him. There's Garcia.
Oh, somehow it came back off the goal scorer, Goldhar, and went out of bounds. As I thought Goldhar had earned a corner kick. North Carolina, nonetheless, winning it here. They need to keep it. Good tackle from Schott. Referee says play on. Garvanian. Excellent little touch here. Clark, can he run it down? No. And now FIU, they know the situation. 40 seconds remaining here from a massive win over number 13 North Carolina.
I feel like sometimes speed can be a detriment to you when you need to put some touch on a pass. And for White there, a little too much pace, maybe because the speed can't slow those feet down enough.
North Carolina must win this. They do. Garvanian. North Carolina sends it forward. White. And this should probably do it as FIU with the long clearance. North Carolina, one more chance to get it back in the 18. 2 seconds remaining, and FIU has done it. They've come into Chapel Hill representing the American Athletic Conference, and they've not